Hi everyone, Gary Dean here with Sentiment Timing. So the S&P pushed right into the 60-minute sell zone from the institutional pivot matrix and was rejected on contact. So that keeps our short-term pressure intact and suggests sellers are still defending higher prices. Tonight we're going to break down the critical support and resistance zones currently in play, and once either side is breached, the market could open up the door for a 200-point directional move. So this was made, this is our 60-minute chart going from this high to this low. So you can see from once we came down into our support zone, we rallied straight back up again and we ran right into our resistance zone. And from there, the S&P dropped from 69.09 all the way down to 68.56. So again, just knowing where this zone is, we are pretty overbought on the stochastics. And it was a pretty easy trade because we have the moving averages. That's what I had mentioned is when you have these matrix in place and where the zones are, if you see price running right into the sell zone as well as moving averages, it's a recipe to get short. And anybody who did made a quick almost 50 points on the S&P. If you traded the spiders, it was a $5 move on that. So this played exactly as planned. And as I said, this is an important zone right here because if the bulls can take it out, this is going to be where the next levels that we're looking at, 69.45. And if we're coming up here, we have our resistance going all the way up to the 7,000. And this is the part where I'm talking about when we look at the daily charts here. And again, this is done by our software that we have. And you can see every time they approach this buy zone, buyers step in and we head back up. Now, if this gets taken out, the next spot we're going to is going down to the 67.08 and then possibly down to the 66.21. So this is really important for the bulls to defend. And this is really important for the bears to defend. And if we start heading up here, the part that is very interesting with this software is it's giving our projections. So if this holds right here, this zone, and this high gets taken out, the next stop we're going 70.87 and then all the way up to the 71.85. So you can see how there's a very easy 200-point move in either direction. And the software that the toolkit is looking for a low to take place between February 17th to the 20th. I forgot what days they were. So we're in the time zone. These are our Gann times that we want to look for times. So you can see if we head down here into the 11:30 time frame, it could be a good buying opportunity. If we're heading up, it could be a good selling opportunity. You just want to make sure everything is lined up with that. So let's go through some more support and resistance zones here. So this is the support coming from these lows to these highs. Never really made it down there, but this is how I work the software to know like the different pivots that we want to go to. So we went from this low, and then I drew another one from this low. And if we go and look at the next chart on that, you can see that that's exactly where this came. So we ran into resistance on the 60-minute chart. 15-minute didn't play out, but we have the 5-minute that came right into support. And from here, the S&P rallied from 68.57 all the way up to 68.90. So from the moves that we were just showing, from the rejection to the bounce, I mean, that's almost 100 S&P points on this. And that's how powerful the software is and why I really don't trade without it. So if the bulls, if they don't defend this levels right here, this 68.60 down to the 68.50, then we're coming down. You can see this is a Gann pivot right here, and that's at the 68.32. Now, if they lose that, we have price support that's at 68.08. But my take is we're probably coming down and testing these lows again. And, remember, this is the important level that the bulls have to defend. Otherwise, we're coming down and testing these levels right here. So we're getting into a pretty important time right now. We want to make sure that we're on the right side and pay attention to which pivots are going to get lost. Now, we have these support levels that, I've been showing you. This held right here on the 5-minute chart, but now this is where it gets interesting. So we're coiling up right here because you can see from this high to this low, we're right back into a sell zone. So it's a software that you can use on any time frame. If you're day trading, you can go look at the 60-minute or the 60-minute charts where the resistance is. And then if we get the drop on it, what you do is you're going to look at where the support is on this. And that's really how you make money on this. And as I said, I'm pretty proud of this software. It's taken a while to build up, and it's really working fantastic. And thank you for everyone that's purchased it. So let's just get into more technicals without looking at our pivots right here. And you can see we had a little bit of a bearish divergence in place, but this is only a 5-minute chart. So, but the fact that we were really extremely overbought on the 15-minute chart, as well as the 60-minute chart, this resistance zone, it made perfect sense that we were gonna turn there. And then when we got into extreme oversold levels and we were at support, we got the nice bounce. And that's really what I love about using this software. You can use it on all different time frames. If you're a day trader, you can trade the ES off of it. I showed you this morning that just trading the ES overnight with the pivots on it, that you could have made well over 100 points on the moves that took place. So it works with any index, any futures or ETF that you want to trade, and it really is a very safe way to trade, because if one pivot gives out, we're heading to the next one, and you just either look to buy, and if that gets taken out, then momentum's really picking up on the other side, and you got to look at longer term. So let's take a look at IWM. I actually messed up trading this one. I really did. We were long the 265 calls and the 264 puts. And from there, we had this big run up, and I actually took the call side off. We made some, decent money. But then when we started pulling back and we were looking at the support zone was a little bit higher up before. So yeah, we were up here. So I covered our short positions here at the 265 and then down at the 264.40. And didn't realize that we're going to continue straight down. So that hurt. We could have made a lot of money on it. I just really, after the bulls made this move right here, I didn't expect to see a repeat of every one of these. I thought it was going to give way at some point, but unfortunately, that was not the correct call on that, because we would have made a real lot of money on those trades. But anyway, look at this support zone that gave way. It went right into our pivots right here, where we have our Gann pivot and our last line in the sand for the bulls. And buyers stepped in and moved IWM from 262.90 all the way up to 264.37. So that was a great move. That little trade right there, if anyone took it. And we don't have any sell signals even on the short-term charts. So that would lead me to believe that we're probably going to get a bounce. But again, we got to keep an eye on where the resistance is, and that's going to be right in our zones right here, where we bounced off of this the pivot here, and we came up, and now we have to watch and see, is this going to hold it down, or are we going to come up and test these highs again? So I'm kind of up in the air with the actual direction. All I know is we're coiling up right now, and we have a pretty good size move that's going to be pending. I'm leaning more on the bullish side, but if we start seeing some of our support levels taken out, then what's going to happen is we're looking at a larger drop. And I'm staying open-minded with this. And again, if you're interested in the software or it's just trading in our trading room, send me an email. All the information is below. And with that, let's see what plays out tomorrow. Have a great night, and I will talk to you guys in the morning.